Hi Awakening Beauties, I'm Robin and this is my no buy year. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, I welcome you. My name is Robin and this year my channel is primarily focused on being a no buy year. And by that I mean I'm not buying any clothing, accessories, home goods, skincare, or makeup unless I need to buy some replacement products. So how's it going for me? We're now in March and things are going pretty good. To be quite honest, doing these videos and the time it has taken to film them and edit them has really kept my mind busy so that I'm not thinking about shopping, which has been a bonus of doing these videos. I didn't realize that that would be an effect, a side effect of making videos. But it's going pretty well for me. Today I was sort of just, it's a Sunday and I was thinking about what do I want to talk about today? And this is going to be kind of loose and I'm going to just kind of put out some concepts, some spiritual concepts that I'm thinking about today. And it's not going to be so much focused on beauty, but I hope you'll stick around anyways and give it a thumbs up if you like it. And subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And hit that notification bell also so you know when I upload videos, which I've been uploading on Wednesdays and Sundays. So I was thinking about the concept of money representing energy. It's an energy exchange. We are putting our energy into a job or our own business, and as a result, the currency that we receive, the exchange of our physical energy, is in a form of a currency. That's not a new concept necessarily, but when you think about how different forms of energy and different forms of currency in our life and how we're using them, it's kind of good to think about that because there are different forms of energy currency, and our thoughts are the biggest form of energy currency. And so I've been thinking a lot about how our thoughts create our reality. And I'm a student of Dr. Joe Dispenza, among other thought leaders out there, and the research that has gone into how our thoughts create our reality. I was watching a video by Dr. Bruce Lipton today, and it was very interesting to me. I'll link it below. It's a little bit older video. It's 11 years old, but what he said was really resonated with me, and so I'll share a few of those concepts. You can of course watch his video yourself, but I just wanted to talk about a few of the concepts from that video. He says that your thoughts represent units of energy, and Dr. Joe talks about that we have 60 to 70,000 thoughts every day, and most of those are unconscious. And most of those thoughts are actually the same thoughts that we have every single day that have just become like playing on a loop in our brain unconsciously. And those unconscious thoughts affect how we feel, and then the feeling affects our thoughts, and then our thoughts affect our feelings and ultimately affect our behaviors. This is cognitive therapy research, which, you know, Dr. Joe is not the inventor of these concepts, but he knows how to distill them down into forms that are very palatable for people and easily understood. But thinking about how our energy budget is inside of our body. So if we have really we have a finite amount as human beings, a finite amount of energy that we can produce every single day. That can be increased by healthy choices in our diet, supplements that we take, by exercising, things that can increase our energy. But we actually have a budgeted amount of energy that is finite. Our thoughts are like writing checks. Every time we have a thought, we're writing a check, or it could be like taking an ATM withdrawal. We're making an ATM withdrawal every time we have a thought. So by investing in thoughts that are not productive, we are giving away our energy budget constantly. And in return, we're not only giving away our energy to these thoughts, but then these thoughts are becoming a reality. Our brain is manifesting these into our reality. And you can see this, this may seem a little woo-woo, but it actually makes sense. It's like where you place your energy is where your focus is. And there are people, I'm sure you know of plenty of people who set their intention and they had a single focus of something they wanted to create in their life, and nothing was going to distract them from doing that. And then they accomplished it. And so these principles are not woo-woo when you think about how we're directing our energy and efforts into our life. And a good example of this is like if you are thinking about getting a certain type of car, or maybe you just bought a red Honda Civic, and now all of a sudden you see red Honda Civics everywhere on the road. You never saw them before, but now you're seeing them everywhere. Did everybody just buy a red Honda Civic on the same day you did? Not likely, but it wasn't in your awareness. It wasn't where your focus was. So we tune out a lot of things around us that we don't even know are happening. But once we have the intention of noticing something in our reality, now it's everywhere. And this is true in all facets of life. So the idea of our energy being finite and that it's actually like money also extends into how do we budget our energy? How are we frugal with our thoughts? There's a great quote that was brought up in that video by Dr. Bruce Lipton that I mentioned by Bhagavan Das that said, worrying is praying for something that you don't want. So if you're investing a lot of your mental energy into worrying about something, then you're sort of manifesting that into your life, that thing that you don't want. It was so funny because last night I went to a comedy show. My friends were performing, and my friend Jeff does this character called Antonio Robinsteinez, and he's like the worst motivational speaker ever. He's not actually a terrible motivational speaker, but as the character, he hates the audience. But he did a bit where he was talking about, what do you fear? What don't you want in your life? And, what is your biggest fear? And so, like I said, fear of death, And then he says, is there anything you can do about your death? And it was like, no. He says, then don't worry about it. And it was like everything that someone said. He said, can you change that? And they were like, yes. And then he says, then don't worry about it. And it was quite funny. And me knowing Jeff, that he actually is a spiritually awakened person, knows that he was doing it in a humorous way, but it was actually a true message coming through. So putting our energy into things that we cannot change, and there's so much that we can't change. We can't change. We can make change in the world. I do believe that. But if you're not in a powerful position as a politician, or whatever, we're watching from the sidelines. We're watching the news from the sidelines. And by worrying about things that are happening, how is that changing anything? You can't change anything by worrying about it. I won't say that, activism shouldn't be done. And certainly there's certain types of activism that it has proved very helpful. It's gotten laws changed. As an ex-Jehovah's Witness and former activist, I had a channel with my husband called What's Up Watchtower. We still have the channel, we just don't make videos at this time. But not only by the work that we did on that channel, I would say that, you know, we were just like a drop in the sea, but there are many people in that community who have pushed for laws to be enacted to help survivors of child sexual abuse. There's a very big problem with child sexual abuse within that religion. And it was unacknowledged by the leaders for a very long time, but now it's really come out into public view of things that have happened and the way that things have been hidden. So either way, I see that kind of activism, those that went to their legislatures where, you know, they supported the victims in going to legislators to get laws changed. And in that situation, yes, you know, if you can do something to change it, then do. But sitting and worrying about it and being upset and just ruminating over and over and over in your head, that's not going to change anything. Getting into other things that you can't change, like getting into political arguments with people, you're wasting energy. You are going way outside your emotional and energetic budget by getting into those conversations. Talking about, oh, these products are bad for you and you shouldn't be eating this and you shouldn't have this diet and you shouldn't, you know, this is toxic and blah, blah, blah. You can give people the information, but if you're very heated and passionate about it, how is that affecting your energetic budget? I mean, it may just be a waste of time. And is it going to actually change anything? Probably not. It won't. Sometimes when people are super passionate about something and if they have an approach that is aggressive, people get turned off and they won't even hear your message. So I'm taking this online workshop that's being taught by one of my good friends, Faith, who is a NCS certified trainer with Dr. Joe's organization. And we're talking today about we're talking about how you can live, you're either living in a state of survival or a state of creation. I understand these concepts and I'm trying to impart them because I'm trying to vocalize it. I'm trying to be able to explain it so that it becomes a part of my DNA, because part of why I was overspending had to do with living in a state of survival, that I was stressed out. Was a lot of negative self-talk was happening, and it led to overspending last year. So understanding these concepts for me is very important, and I hope that you'll find some value in them too. So these hormones of stress can create emotions of anger, fear, powerlessness, hate, sadness, guilt, shame, frustration. These are all low vibrational emotions. We get addicted to these feelings. And that seems odd to think about, getting addicted to negative emotions. But when you think about the chemical release that we get from our adrenals when we're living in a state of survival, whatever it might be, that 8:30 drive to work and somebody cuts you off and you're instantly angry. Why? Why are we instantly angry? We don't even know who that person is. We're making all kinds of judgments in that moment about their intentions. And I'm guilty of this. So I'm working on getting out of living by a state of survival and getting into living in a state of creation. So we do get addicted to these chemicals because they give us a rush and we get used to that rush. So our body is craving that chemical and it sends us a thought so that we can have a thought and then have the feeling that leads to the emotion that releases that chemical. And it's just a loop. It's a loop. And we go through it all day long. I mean, these primitive chemical responses were for our survival. Before modern times, people lived in much more dangerous situations where you could be eaten by an animal out on the Serengeti. When we were out living as hunter-gatherers, you had to be hyper aware so that you didn't get killed and eaten by a lion. But now we live in modern times, and that lion is our boss. It's our coworker. It's the guy on the highway. It's the rude person in the store. It's like a constant barrage of negativity and things that cause this fight or flight response inside of us. So how do we cut that? How do we cut that emotional response to those situations? Well, what I'm learning is that it takes diligence to be aware of our thoughts, because like I said earlier, we have 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day, and 70% of those thoughts are negative. I would say that the percentage is probably even higher than that for a lot of people. And I'm including myself in that I have a lot of negative thoughts. So some of the questions that I am asking myself after I'm becoming aware of certain thoughts, habitual thoughts, the same thoughts happening day after day after day, is this thought enhancing my life? No. And getting into, I think her name is Brene Brown, the 3 questions she asks is it true? And then you journal about, is this thought true? Maybe it is. What is the thought? Boom, 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 boom. Everything you have to say about it. Like if your friend upset you, they didn't invite you to go to a party or something like that, you write down everything that happened. It says, is this true? Yes, it's true. She didn't invite me. They left me out. But can I absolutely know that it's true? Well, I can know that it's true that I wasn't invited, but can I know that it's true that it was intentional? That's the key. Was it intentional? I can't know for sure. Maybe it was. Maybe it was intentional. You can write about that. But then the third question is, who would I be without this thought? And write about that. And really, when you get good at this is really where I skip to whenever I notice these thoughts happening, is who would I be without this thought? And then I can let it go. Because is it upbuilding? Is it enhancing my life? Is it bringing me joy? Is it making me a better person? So budget your thoughts wisely, because your thoughts affect your energy, and your energy is your currency for life. And if you want to have energetic currency, which by the way leads to financial currency, you're going to start watching your thoughts. And that's what I'm working on. I'm working on watching my thoughts, how I'm budgeting my thoughts, along with how I'm budgeting my money. So I hope this wasn't a preachy video. It's just something I'm trying to ingrain inside of myself so that I can make the change that I want to see in the world, right? Or at least just the change I want to see in my life. And I don't want to be praying for something to happen that I don't want to happen. So I'm going to stop worrying about things. I'm doing better. I'm doing better at not worrying about things. So I'm doing better. Well, I thank you for watching. I invite you to comment below and let me know your thoughts about what I've shared, thoughts about how you're budgeting your thoughts, how you're budgeting your energy, how you're budgeting your money even. If you're doing a no-buy year, a no-buy month, maybe you're just doing a no-buy week. I enjoy getting your comments, and I thank those of you that have been commenting regularly. It's very inspiring to me and encourages me to keep going with this. So thank you so much. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.